Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Table 19. So in case you don't know what this movie is about, as I'm guessing a lot of you don't because it didn't really have a lot of marketing, Table 19 revolves around a wedding. And this wedding is taking place, and in this wedding they have 19 different tables. In order, it's sort of a ranking of importance. In the table 1, you have the groom, you have the bride, and then as table 2 goes on, 3, 4, 5, it starts becoming lesser and lesser, and the very last one is table 19. It's considered the randoms table. It's just, oh, random people we decided to invite, we don't really need to, but we did, oh, then we'll just put them here. And that's what the movie is about. It's about these, band of misfits, these people that don't really have much other than what's going on. They're not really wanting to go to the wedding, but they did end up going, and it's about how they sort of have a very eventful time at the wedding and how all these crazy things happen. If it sounds like a similar plot, there is a good reason for that, because one of my favorite films of all time, The Breakfast Club, also has a very similar plot. It's a group of misfits that are suddenly casted away in an area, and they learn to accept each other and learn to grow. There are other great movies as well about characters just sitting in rooms. You also have 12 Angry Men, which I have the Criterion up there. Don't really want to get it though. You also have Glengarry Glen Ross, another great film really revolving around not too many locations. There are a lot of great films that are just one setting, and Table 19 is really on the lesser side of it. Something that this movie definitely does well is not feeling limited. With this very basic plot, you don't have much to go with. You have the 5 or 6 characters, I believe, that are sitting at the table, and how all of them relate to the other people at the wedding, and how they learn to grow with each other. It's sort of just a story about that, and that's a limited, minimalist storyline, but they are able to stretch it out into a film that doesn't really feel stretched out. It doesn't feel like there's scene after scene after scene of unnecessary things happening. There's always something else going on. There's new conflict, there's new character development introduced, there's new things going on. It never feels limited so that you feel like you're getting bored or uninterested. It delivers on some entertaining and enjoyable moments. The movie does have some nice moments that I did enjoy watching. And part of the reason for that is that the movie, other than the last 20 minutes, is not overly cliched. I was expecting a really overly cliched movie with this, but a lot of the things I was predicting in my head, and they actually didn't come out going like that. There are things that happen later in the movie that completely ruin everything that happened, but I'll touch on that later. But for what we're talking about right now, the first 50 minutes or an hour actually had a lot of, non-traditional things happen, which I really enjoyed. That is where the goods end for Table 19, however, because this movie has a lot of flaws. Really, its biggest flaw is that it's just disposable. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing really inspired. There's nothing incredible that will make you look back or remember it. It's a very forgettable, disposable movie because the directing isn't amazing, the writing is fine, the acting is okay, sometimes bad. It has some moments of being very bad, but a lot of it is just very forgettable and unmemorable and just disposable. And really, it's hard to complain really hard about a movie like that, because you're not going to remember it, it's not going to painstakingly stay with you, it's just a bad movie. What this movie does, though, that goes a bit beyond just a disposable flick, is having some very terribly done humor. A lot of the humor is okay, but a lot of it also is awkward humor, where it's characters saying something and then other characters reacting to it around it, so that the one character that said what he said turns out that that was not what he was supposed to say, and he feels awkward in the situation. You have a lot of awkward comedy like that, and a lot of the time it feels very unnatural. I never really laughed in this movie, which was a big flaw, because this was supposed to be a comedy, and they're cracking jokes constantly. What's good is that the comedy fits with what's going on, so it doesn't feel like they're stopping to tell a joke. But when the jokes come in, they feel a bit messy, because they're just really not that well written, and they're really not that funny. And also the wedding just felt very fake. It didn't feel like a real wedding. It felt staged. It felt performed. They also have random scenes where the Table 19 leaves the wedding, but then they cut back to the wedding for absolutely no reason, and it feels just strange and weird. But the biggest flaw with this movie, or I said that the disposability of it is the biggest flaw, I changed that. The biggest flaw in this movie is easily the ending. So basically the theme of the movie up to that point was that these people were having a really good time, but it wasn't going to change their lives. They were going to have to go back to their jobs. They were going to have to go back to the life that they were previously living. And they would just sort of live with what's going on. That was really it. There was nothing else much going on with the wedding. They had a fun time and all, but nothing else was really happening. And I really enjoyed that theme. It didn't try to be something else that it wasn't. It didn't try to exceed boundaries. But this is ruined. There's a certain scene where Anna Kendrick runs out to like a port and yells to a boat. And at that point, the movie changes. Suddenly, they feel the need to make it so that every single character needs to have a progression with them. Every single character needs to have development. Now, The Breakfast Club, a movie I previously mentioned, and 12 Angry Men, both of these movies, they have characters that go out not really all that changed. In The Breakfast Club, they learn to break their cliches. They learn to go on. And if you've seen the movie, you know a few walk out with romantic interests. But really, when it comes down to it, they're going to go back to school and they're going to be their same normal selves. With 12 Angry Men, they had a very intense fight. They had very intense moments of talking to each other, very loudly, getting angry. But in the end of the day, they're walking out of the room as the same people. Faced by what happened, but really their life has not changed because of it. This is really good for one-setting movies because it makes it feel more realistic, so that it's not that 90 minutes are able to change a character's entire life. Table 19 does this for a while, but when they change, it's absolutely terrible. Also, one other thing I gotta mention, they have a dog in the movie that comes in at such a random moment and feels so unnecessary, and he just comes there and then stays for the rest of the movie, but he actually had no purpose for being there. They don't explain why he's there. It actually felt like someone just threw a dog there and said, oh, we need a dog right here for absolutely no reason. Yeah, let's do that. And that's all the dog was there for. However, Table 19 did not make me angry. For a while, I was thinking that this could be a good movie until the last 20 minutes tear apart everything that it built up. However, I still don't think that this is an awful movie. It's a bad one. It's just very disposable and forgettable, which really just doesn't make me angry about what I saw. Is it bad? Yes. Do I recommend it? No. But I won't say that this is an absolutely awful movie. I will end up giving Table 19 a 4.75 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Table 19. If you saw this movie, what are your thoughts on it? Comment in the comment section below, and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.